I am in the danger zone. Or is that my cholesterol? Anyway. Fucking hell. I really should be ashamed of myself. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to laugh, otherwise you cry, and then you die, and then you wonder why. But there's a number of things that need to be discussed. One of these things, Tommy Robinson. Now he's moved on to the Advance Party. Now, as much as Ben Habib might be a good guy, for all I know, I think Tommy personally should have joined UKIP. But my opinion, of course, is subjective, and whatever Tommy does, I respect it. The way I see it, the lefties are already clutching at their pearls. They're already throwing out the name tags faster than an all-you-can-eat buffet on a discount. No, I wasn't there, shut it. And the leftoids, of course, will do anything they can to belittle, smear and beseech the name of Advance UK. Because as we all know, that's the only weapon the lefties have. Their only fucking weapon in the entirety of politics is the smear. Makes you wonder where they got all the pregnancy tests. Anyway, these guys only know how to do the smear. They only know how to slander their opponents, which in some cases is going to land them in a substantial amount of trouble. While I am no advocate of cancel culture, I do fundamentally believe in taking people to task over their stupidity. The classic fuck around, find out scenario. And there have been quite a few people who have fucked around with Nigel El-Faraji and have found out. Just like Matt Hancock fucked around and found out with Andrew Bridgens. And I think Andrew won his case, or it's still ongoing right now. That's the thing. You may have the right to free speech, but what you don't have a right to is to not be offended. You also don't have the right to basically say things and expect no consequences. Who knows, maybe one day, hate not hope are going to try and pick a fight with me, and they're going to realise that this is one person that they're certainly not going to censor off the web. Who said that's because you have a worldwide way? Shut up, you. I'm not that big. Jesus Christ. Well, no, Jesus Christ can't help me. I'm too far gone. Anyway, the fact is, these lefties, they just are clueless when it comes down to actually handling the truth and facts. They don't understand that the ordinary people are starting to not really give a shit whether you call them far right or the N-word, and I'm not talking to describe a black person, but the other N-word. I think you know which one I mean, to describe the people in that country that begins with G. The ones run by a far-left socialist dictator. Or maybe I was right first time. I'm sure you can narrow it down. It doesn't matter how hard you try to slander Ben Habib and Tommy Robinson, because your attacks on them are as effective as a yellow what? I can't get the words out. As a wet marshmallow. I don't know where yellow came from. Maybe piss. I don't know. But they're not going to land a mark at all on Ben Habib or Tommy Robinson when they're throwing out the name tags like it's going out of fashion. And yes, I was suppressing another stroke, just like I was just then. Probably would have had 3 strokes by now if it weren't for that. There isn't really much else to say on the Advance Party, but as said, I do hope that it all works out for Tommy Robinson and Ben Habib, and I hope they truly take the fight to the oligarchy, because it's about time somebody took out the trash, quite frankly. Now, as for the next few bits of news, this is probably going to bring your piss to a boil, quite frankly, because I've mentioned a few times about the VPNs. I have mentioned how there's been at least 5 million downloads as of late. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head if I actually mentioned the fact that VPN sales, right now, they're currently up 1,800%. I could already imagine the CEO of VPN companies like Surfshark, NordVPN, and all the others who are literally looking at that gigantic stack of dollar bills, and their eyes are just literally dollar signs at this point. I think me and Mike signed up to the wrong business. Maybe we should have had a fucking VPN service, and then all of our problems as far as not having any money would have been resolved, just like that. But jokes aside, there is a much more serious point to make as far as this VPN issue is concerned. Remember, Keir the traitor Starmer and his nonce party, Labour Party, or again, maybe I was right first time, they want to do everything they can to stop us from having access to these VPNs. Although it was said at one point they ruled out a total VPN ban. But at bare minimum, they were considering it. And this one's going to piss you off. There were some Labour MPs who were actually claiming expenses as far as VPNs are concerned. That's right. Some of the £100,000 or so of expenses they get, and of course bearing in mind they also get a 90,000 plus salary, they're claiming VPNs at your expense. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. But here's the thing that's really brilliant kicker in this. Children, who ironically they were claiming to be protecting, yeah, why didn't you do that with the grape gangs, I wonder? Why haven't you gone out of your way to be of the same mentality when the kids were being violated by you-know-who? The same mentality they have to protect the kids with this online safety, or is it censorship act. Guess what? The kids are actually finding out how to circumnavigate that. So they're actually going to find the stuff, ironically, the government wants to protect the children from. And they're doing it in one of the simplest ways they can. There are some, from what I understand, because I'm no expert on this, but from what I understand, there are different browser types that basically give you access to certain parts of the web. Your normal web, then you've got, I think there's another layer of web, and then you've got the dark web as well. But the kids are finding out that you can use these Tor browsers to basically get around the restrictions that Keir the traitor Starmer thought that he was going to be able to utilize against children. And that he thought was honestly going to wash with us that it was to protect the kids. Yeah, like fuck is it, matey? You're as see-through as a glass pane. And you have all the charisma of a nuclear bomb, quite frankly. I guess now I know why they call it Starmageddon. Anyway, the fact is, Keir the traitor Starmer isn't going to be convincing anybody that this Online Safety Act, as he calls it, is anything other than a censorship bill. They've just been trying to push this through the whole time, because I've mentioned the Online Harms Act that they tried to push through, and obviously the people weren't having it. Now they're changing it to the Online Safety Act, thinking that people are more stroke number one, more dense than a block of tungsten. But we're not as dumb as he thinks. And he better not start insulting what little intelligence I have, because I will grill him over a fucking fire if he tries that shit. I've got more intelligence than that treacherous sectarian bastard of a Prime Minister in my little pinky than he has in his entire fucking body. Does Keir the traitor Starmer honestly think that people who want to go on adult websites are going to be inclined to self-dox them, thank you hoodlum, self-dox themselves with a selfie on their phone, or digital ID, or a passport, or a driver's license, or whatever? Do you honestly think people who are clued up are going to want to give you those fucking details, Starmer? The only detail I'd want to give you is how to claim a middle finger on toast, quite frankly. Served with nice big lashings of fuck you sauce. And I know some people are not going to like the fact that I swear more than a bloody sailor, but here's the way I see it, and you can say it with me. I'm not going to sugarcoat a motherfucking thing. I'm not going to mince my words. I'm going to say it exactly how it is, and I will do my best not to bullshit you. Because at the end of the day, all this really boils down to is Keir the traitor Starmer doesn't want the indigenous people of the United Kingdom being able to look up political news that actually portray this bastard in a negative light. Keir the traitor Starmer, if he had his way, he would literally deny the internet to everyone. But that was one mistake at the oligarchy they're never going to fix. That was basically like opening Pandora's box to the public. And once that was open, there is no way that Keir the traitor Starmer or any of the lefties are ever going to reclaim that. Because now it's opened up places where indigenous folk are going to, congregate. Whether they be lefties, whether they be centrists, whether they be far right, or whatever you want to call them. But it's basically created communities where people can come on and discuss the treachery and the deceit of the left-wing Silicon Valley tech groups, the oligarchies around the world, and treacherous bastards like Keir the traitor Starmer. I'll get back to you. Not very loud, am I? I'll get back to you later. Too many people on here. Got a little bit of freedom now, but yeah, the way I look at it is this whole situation with the VPNs and what have you. Starmer has not succeeded in doing anything other than getting people to circumvent it. He's effectively made it so that more and more people are signing up for VPNs just to avoid the Online Safety Act. And then there are the ones that are smart enough that they don't need a VPN, they just need the right browser. So, good job, Keir the traitor Starmer. Your thing has been about as much success as a store I-beam in a brick building. You've prevented absolutely sod all. Thank you. If he's protecting children, I'm Jimmy Savile. For legal reasons, that's obviously a joke. For anybody who's a bit dense, which will likely be the lefty NPCs, but I digress. I mean, it's almost as big a lie as Tony the War Criminal Blair saying that he's going to go over to Iraq because there are WMDs over there, when there were no WMDs and he sent thousands of soldiers to their deaths. I mean, who the fuck are you trying to kid, Keir the traitor Starmer? Next thing you know, he'll be saying, have you heard the one about the far right? Anyway, the fact is, Keir the traitor Starmer is well in over his head. There is no way he could honestly think that he is going to make it to the next election intact. He will likely be dissected into multiple different fucking pieces, metaphorically speaking, of course, by the Tory party, the Tory party, the Reform Party, the Advance UK party, like you name it, they're going to get shafted by it. You can't honestly expect people to be willing to vote for Labour at this point, Keir. You honestly cannot expect people, after your treachery and deceit, to still want to vote for you. And those that do want to vote for you, I recommend they go to their local GP and get themselves checked out from the neck up, because your brain must be malfunctioning or damaged beyond repair. But I can't stress enough how much it brings my piss to a boil to think that Labour MPs are claiming expenses on our taxpayer money for the VPNs that they want to use that they don't want us to use. Honestly, there's more hypocrisy here than at a vegan convention, I swear to God. And I think I recall the signature of the repealing the Online Safety Act. I think that's on at least 470,000 signatures right now. There is no way that Keir the traitor Starmer can ignore that many signatures. He has to debate this. No question about it. That's the thing, Starmer. You're not mending bridges, you're burning them. You're not galvanising the people to support you, you're rallying them against you. One other thing that they've also done lately, they've decided that this massive protest from the proscribed T group, known as Plasticine Action, they're apparently allowed to go ahead this Saturday with a massive protest outside Parliament Square. Or was it London? Can't remember. But anyway, it's somewhere in London, I know that much. Meanwhile, the two-tier policing society have decided no more protests outside Britannia Hotel. Does that stink of two-tier policing to you? But to be fair, to play devil's advocate, I can understand why the police and the oligarchy would want to do that. After all, they're clearly showcasing to the United Kingdom they're clearly not capable of handling nationwide protests. They're clearly showing to us that when you've got the massive scale of people that we have, all of a sudden the 90 to 100,000 police officers are finding it very fucking difficult to manage that many people across the country protesting against the establishment. But that's something, of course, the mainstream media are not going to want to tell you. And here's the thing, I've mentioned this before, and I will say it here again. If the whole country got up for a revolution, the police would be screwed. The battle would be over, just like that. Because they wouldn't be able to cope with 500,000+ people turning up to have a day of fun and what is effectively our last chance at a peaceful resolution. They would not be able to police us if it got nasty in any way, shape or form. And let me be absolutely clear, I don't want it to get nasty. Not on the 13th of September. There's far too much at stake right now. I would rather this end peacefully and with Keir the traitor Starmer out on his arse than I would have a massive revolution that ends up with blood on the streets, quite frankly. There are some people who are vying for blood. I understand it. I get it. But the trouble is, that's exactly what Keir the traitor Starmer wants. And while I'm nearly certain that he would not be able to get away from the people, it doesn't change the fact that it would lead to a catastrophic result on both sides. Thousands would die. Maybe even hundreds of thousands. We would have a draconian government still in power. I suppose Angela Rayner would end up taking over from the traitor party, Labour Party. And I suspect more than anything, we would see even more restrictions placed on the people. I mean, as it is, they're already trying to censor our free speech. They're already trying to do everything they can to close down the internet. But as I said, that's like trying to close Pandora's box when all the monsters are already out of said box. You've got two hopes of that shit. No Hope and Bob Hope. And my bet's on the comedian. Anyway, they have got no chance of being able to police this kind of massive protest without bringing in the army. And even then, they'll be hard pressed. And if they order these people to go out of their way to target the indigenous English people, I don't think a lot of these army people are going to want to do that. They're going to look at us as the people who have been fighting all this time to try and get a peaceful resolution and have been repeatedly denied. We've been trying to do this by the book the whole time for the last at least 10 fucking years. And I think the army would see that. As I've said before as well, when Boris the Clown Johnson was in power, over half the army said that they would join the people if there was a military coup, if there was any kind of coup on the oligarchy. And that was with Boris in power, who I would argue is just about a little bit more fucking popular than Keir the traitor Starmer right now. How many of those army people do you think are going to want to serve Starmer? He might get 20%, if he's lucky. I think he would have a massive, massive fucking problem if he tries to bring the army in. I really think that. He is going to have a hell of a time trying to weasel his way out of this one. He won't be able to blame the far right for the protests that have been going on. He won't be able to blame the far right for any uprising that starts. None of us want it, but the cold, bitter truth is, I think Britain will blow before the English people end up getting the peaceful result they want, quite frankly. And when that does happen, God help Starmer. Actually, no, God don't help Starmer. He's a vile, evil man, quite frankly. Your help should be put towards the English people, the Christian people who put their faith in you. And while I may not be a Christian myself, I am as blasphemous as they come with all the swearing that I do and using the Lord's name in vain. And I'm sure at some point there's going to be a lightning bolt strike through this this roof of this council flat and strike me down. Just like that. I accept that. But you know what? Nothing would satisfy me more than seeing Keir the traitor Starmer out on his arse and then facing a trial for war crimes and for facing treason charges as well. And I would personally love it even more if Tony the war criminal Blair was up in the dock with him. Because at the end of the day, Labour have been a party of treachery, not a party of the working class. They have done more to rally people against them than any other party. Say what you will about the Tories. Say what you will about Nigel El-Faraji. But only Keir the traitor Starmer has done everything he can to try and shut down all political opposition, all political debate, all free speech. Do you know what that makes him? I'll give you a very big fucking clue. It's one of those words that the lefties like to call us. One that begins with F. Something that, ironically, a certain far-left socialist dictator ended up becoming when he tried to take over the Western world. Do you know what that word is? I'll tell you. Fascist. How does it feel, lefties? How does it feel to be supporting a fascist when you're trying to call us fascists? For wanting our country to be looked after, for wanting our borders to be protected, for wanting our children to be safe and be able to grow up and live a happy and prosperous life. How does it feel? How does it feel to know you're getting humbled by a fat fuck like me? Oh, it must sting you so much. I can already see you grasping your pearls, foaming at the mouth, grabbing your lattes and hoping to cry stroke number 2, hoping you won't crush the cup. Because I can already see it with you leftoids. There is a bit of anger in me, yeah, I won't deny that. But you know what? That anger comes from a lot of fucking passion. That comes from a lot of passion for the country that I currently live in right now. England. I have a lot of fucking care for this country. I care about Scotland. I care about Wales. I care about England. I care about Ireland. What do you lot fucking care about? You're just too busy grabbing your pearls, whether it's these ones or those ones, hoping to Christ that somebody takes you back to your little safe space. Well, let me tell you something, motherfuckers. This is the real world. And if you don't like it, I'm afraid there's no restart on this bitch. Come at me. Like Tommy Robinson said to the guy that was belligerent and drunk. Come at me. It's sad that all you people who could probably run rings around me, and I'm not going to deny that, and I'd probably be running with donuts. Well, actually, no, I don't like donuts. Anyway, these people who would run rings around me, athletically, they ain't got jack fucking shit in the political department. They have jack shit in the morality department. They would rather see predators protected, just like Keir the traitor Starmer protected Jimmy Savile, than actually want a future for their kids. And it begs the question, doesn't it? Because here's another angle. If they care more about the predators, do you think they care for their own kids on that basis? Do they actually care for their children? Or are they using them as propaganda tools? And they'll be like, oh, think of the children. Don't you want to see the children safe and sound as they cross over the channel and invade our beautiful country to turn it into a third world shithole? They don't fucking care. They'll weaponise their kids the first chance they get. Whereas if I had any kids, although I probably won't have any, and yes, I know I'm counting 2, shut up. But if I had kids, I would let them think for themselves. I might even debate my kids and try to debunk some of their points if they ended up going the wrong way, and try to clue them in on what's going on. But I would let them think for themselves, and I would never use children as a weapon or a shield, like the scum on the left do. The way I see it, we need to put our children first. We need to put ourselves first. What was it they keep on shouting or chanting or whatever? Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Fuck off. If they're so welcome, why don't you have them? Why don't you house them? Do you actually believe what you say? Or are you just chanting it because someone hands you a big wad of cash and says, go out there and protest the Marxist views? That's the thing. You'll only do it if you're paid to do it. We will do it regardless of money. As long as I have the capacity to get up to where I need to go, I'll happily attend the protests. Within reason. I'm not going to travel like 600 fucking miles up to bloody the most northern point of the country. Like, if it is within my capacity, I will attend 100%. And I won't need to be paid a fucking dime for it. There are some people who have. And as I said before, Tommy Robinson even paid my expenses to go down to Salford and stand up on stage for him. But here's the thing. I know now, deep down, how much the country means. Some of us are not capable of leaving the country, while others have already left. No, I'm not going to be mentioning Paul Thorpe. As I have said, I do not want to have a fight with Paul Thorpe or Paul Thorpe fighting Danny Roscoe. Like, I've had enough of that shit. We need to be making sure we're not punching each other. We haven't got time for that anymore. If we want to focus on an enemy, focus on the left. Focus on the ones who want to put predators before your precious people. Before your kids. Focus on them. The bottom line is this. Keir the traitor Starmer is rapidly losing control. He is not going to control people with this Online Safety Act. He is going to push more people to circumvent his laws. He's going to make people boost the sales of the VPN companies even more. He is going to make it so children end up more exposed to the dangers that he's trying to protect them from, such as the adult websites, because they'll just use different browsers and basically circumvent all the shit that goes on the mainstream browsers like Firefox, Chrome and all that. He's not succeeded in anything. He's completely failed. As far as the Britannia Hotel is concerned, 28 days of not being able to protest up there definitely feels like a cop-out to me. Pun intended. And I'm sure I'm going to get arrested for that joke. Anyway, they've copped out, effectively. They have showcased to the world they're not capable of policing nationwide protests. They have showcased to the world that we are winning. They have showcased to the world that if we came out in full force, we would take out the trash and place it in the dustbin of history where it quite rightly belongs. And as far as plasticine action, if they do protest on Saturday, stroke number 3, considering they're a prescribed T group, I hope the police are going to start arresting a lot of people on that day. And we could clear up a lot of trash, just like that. I personally would prefer it if we then deport them to a third world shithole, where they can then support plasticine however much they want. Because at the end of the day, if they're willing to support T's over their own country, that makes them Traitors. Traitors. And you know what they did to traitors back in the day? Hang him! Basically. Nope, that one's empty. Where the fuck's my bottle gone? Dude, fuck. Put it right at the back like a genius. And as far as what's going to happen on Friday, because as I said, I think I can just about make it to fucking Beaufort. Because last time I wasn't up at Beaufort was because I wasn't aware of the protest. But I'm fully aware this time. Fully fucking aware. And I have got no excuse this time. As I've said before, When I say I'm going to do something, unlike a lot of people who want to preach it and then not deliver, when I say I'm going to do something, I fucking do it. I wonder if the oligarchy stormtroopers are going to come along and try to do everything they can to antagonise me and to try and arrest me, to try and send another message. I can already send a message for you, police. Fuck the government. Because at the end of the day, Keir the traitor Starmer is no Prime Minister. He's a tyrant. He's a dictator. Or yet again, maybe I was right first time. He is a man who has put his own principles, his own power first. He doesn't have any fucking principles. What am I on? Oh, there is actually one more point that I need to make about the Tommy Robinson alleged assault. Because this is something that I noticed on MSN on my lunch break. But obviously we all know what the mainstream media is, another bunch of fucking lies. Apparently Tommy exploited a loophole in security. No, he didn't. He utilised his pre-arranged meetings. He had pre-arranged meetings, they knew it, they're spinning a yarn. They are slandering Tommy. All Tommy needs to do is file a court order under Section 2 of the 2006 Fraud Act, fraud by false representation. And the oligarchy is going to have a really hard time explaining to the people, sorry guys, we lied, we thought he was a terrorist, we thought he was a criminal, we thought that he was going to go off to another country and flee the country. No. Not gonna slide with us, matey. We all know Keir the traitor Starmer is aligned with our Islamic king, who is not my king. And I believe I made a point as well. There's an il-Mise, if I recall correctly. I think that's the right term. Il-Mise. Basically, I can say whatever the fuck I want about the king. I have freedom of speech under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act. And I say, King Charles II is not my king, and he's not a king. He's only one in name only. Fuck the king, fuck the government. Because at the end of the day, you don't represent the people. And the king is not upholding Christianity. Make an enemy of God if you will, but don't be surprised if the Christians take their country back from the traitors in Parliament.